Welcome students to MentorsHut. Myself Amit Mangtani, author of Pulse in Handwritten Notes and the faculty of Indian Economy since 8+ years guys. I'm pretty sure that you guys must have seen a news that is the budget has been tabled in the parliament. Now this important document, it is a very important document if I talk about from the UPSC prelims perspective. लेकिन होता क्या है, let me tell you that you guys just mainly focus upon the budget highlights. And even in that budget highlights कि कितने करोड़ पैसे उसमें गए or what initiative have been brought, that's it. But let me tell you, a budget is one such document that can help you in answering guys 8 to 10 marks. Or in answering, I would say 4 to 5 questions of prelims examination. The only difference is when I see the budget, I see it from not just only about the highlights perspective, not only from that speech perspective. अगर आपको पता होगा कि बजट के साथ there has been other documents that are laid down. अगर आप लोगों ने मेरी क्लासेस देखी होंगी, I have told you that under the FRBM Act, it is mandatory for the central government to lay down 4 other statements along with budget. So thereby we should not be just constraining ourselves to the budget highlights itself. What all we should be covering under the budget analysis? It is not, again I'm telling you, that focusing only on highlights. You see, we will be looking at budget analysis in 3 different parts. The first part is about the budgetary concepts, in which I'll be discussing about the constitutional provisions, the formulation of budget itself, a small nitty-gritties like demand for grants, appropriation bill. There has been a question on appropriation bill. I am very much sure that the Kumud Ranjan sir, who has taken our Pulse Polity classes, he must have discussed that in the classes itself about those concepts. But let me tell you, as the budget being an economic document, even I cover these stuff also, ताकि आप लोगों को एक आइडिया लगे क्लियरली दैट बजट इज नॉट जस्ट ओनली अबाउट बजट हाइलाइट्स. इसमें से क्वेश्चन आया था, एंड लेट मी टेल यू, जो एप्रोप्रिएशन फाइनेंस बिल वाला क्वेश्चन आया था प्रीलिम्स में, इट वाज नॉट आंसर्ड बाय मेनी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स. व्हाई? दे गॉट कंफ्यूज्ड. देन द इंपॉर्टेंट ट्रेंड्स जो जनरली मिस कर देते हो, एंड देन कम द थर्ड, बजट हाइलाइट्स. और बजट हाइलाइट्स में भी इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, सी वी फोकस देयर कि जहां जहां पे कुछ मेंशन्ड है, न्यू स्कीम है, या इवन एनी स्कीम दैट इज मेंशन्ड, वी गिव यू द कंटेंट ऑन दैट so that you read about it guys, because something which is mentioned in the budget, it became important from the prelims perspective. This is what we call it as the budget comprehensive analysis, not just a rudimentary or crude analysis that you see nowadays. So let me start. This particular session is about the part 1, which is about the constitutional provisions, the budgetary process, all those aspects. Clear? So first of all, what constitutional provisions basically guide the budget? Most important constitutional provision was Article 112. Article 112 clearly states, first of all, about annual financial statement, which means, sir, you are saying that the word budget is nowhere mentioned in the constitution? Yes, the word budget is nowhere mentioned in the constitution. What is mentioned in the constitution is an annual financial statement. This annual financial statement, which gives an estimate of, receipts and expenditure. Estimates of receipts and expenditure, guys. Now let me tell you, this estimates of receipt and expenditure is the annual financial statement. But Article 112 clearly states that the president shall cause, try to understand, the president in every financial year जो कहां से स्टार्ट होता है हमारा 1st April, like suppose this year 1st April 2025 to 31st March 2026, that is the financial year of 2025-26. तभी आप उस बोलोगे the budget that is going to be mentioned, that's why we have said the budget is going to be of 2025-26, क्योंकि जो एस्टिमेट अभी आएगा that is for the financial year starting from 1st April 2025. So it clearly says that the president for every financial year shall, the word is shall cause the annual financial statement to be laid before both the houses of parliament. What does that mean? The constitutional responsibility, guys, constitutional responsibility of ensuring the budget to be laid down in the parliament, that is conferred on whom? That is conferred to president, guys. ये president को दी गई है. Although you must have seen today that the budget is presented by the Minister of Finance, but the responsibilities actually lies with the president. This is one very important provision. Even in Article 112, it says that fine, this is estimates of receipt and expenditure, but even when you are talking about the expenditure, you have to distinguish the expenditure from revenue account, on revenue account and other expenditure. This is one classification which is clearly given in the Article 112. Now that means, sir, you are saying that the expenditure should distinguish on revenue account and the other is capital. That is how we are going to study, or we study in our economics classes, as components of budget. तो जो component of budget आप देखते हो ना guys, that's why we distinguish our component of budget into revenue account and capital account. I'm going to highlight that also. Article 112 shows very other important point, that is the expenditure should also be classified as charged upon and made from CFI. The difference between these two type of expenditure, I'm pretty sure आप लोगों ने अच्छे से पॉलिटी पढ़ा होगा. Charged upon. If the expenditure is charged upon CFI, that means it can be discussed in the parliament, but non-votable. It can be discussed in the parliament, but it is non-votable, guys. Yes or no? The expenditure cannot be voted upon in the parliament. And whose salaries and allowances are charged upon? Even that is mentioned under Article 112 itself. Article 112, Clause 3, if you try to look at Article 112, Clause 3, if you try to look at, you will find out that the whose salaries and allowances are charged upon expenditure. Then, sir, what about this? Made from. Made from means this expenditure can be discussed and voted upon by the Lok Sabha, that is voted upon by the parliament. I hope you understood. This is the Article 112. क्योंकि अब मैं जब आपको बजट बताऊंगा ना अपने सेकंड में ट्रेंड्स एंड एनालिसिस, I'll show you, then you will be able to relate the concept with the reality, and it is going to then build your confidence. This was Article 112. Then come the Article 113. See, Article 113 says that the estimates of expenditure, which is given by the department or the ministries, that is known as demand for grant. That is known as demand for grant. So Article 113 mentions about demand for grant. Sir, what do you mean by this demand for grant? See, demand for grant, try to understand this word, that department, if I talk about, or the ministry, they present their expenditure estimates. तो उनको क्या चाहिए? They are demanding for grants. When I say grants, which means it is not going to be liability on the departments or the ministry. That means it do not have to be repaid back. It don't have to be repaid back. So that is what the purpose demand for grant. And let me tell you one more constitutional provision. No demand for grant can be introduced without the recommendation of president. That means, sir, you are saying that if Sir, you are saying if the demand for grant, sir, if you are saying that demand for grant has to be made in the parliament, has to be introduced in the parliament, that is only after the prior recommendation. Sir, certain more points. Sir, generally you will find out that the demand for grant in the last few budget have been more than 100. Precise, to be precise, 102. Sir, can a ministry, sir, which have multiple departments, sir, can they have multiple demand for grant? Yes, guys. A single ministry can have multiple demand for grant. आपको दिखाऊंगा मैं part 2 में, don't worry. A single ministry can have multiple demand for grant. Not only that, even a single department which is not even under the ministry, such as Department of Atomic Energy, even that is also the part of demand for grant. Even they can also do that. Clear? लेकिन मानो ये demand for grant approve कर लिए, demand for grant has been approved, discussed and voted upon by the parliament. Can the executive is now allowed to take money from the CFI? No. Article 114 clearly states, guys, that no money shall be withdrawn from the CFI. No money shall be withdrawn from the CFI except withdrawn from the CFI. CFI means Consolidated Fund of India, except under appropriation made by law. Except under appropriation made by law. Clear? It clearly says that no money shall be withdrawn from the CFI except under appropriation made by law. That is why you will find out कि जब बजट enactment होता है उसमें एक प्रोसेस होता है पैसेज ऑफ एप्रोप्रिएशन बिल. पैसा तो अप्रूव कर चुकी है ना लेजिस्लेचर पार्लियामेंट, बट no money shall be, you are not allowed to take money from the CFI except under appropriation made by law. Are you getting my point? This is what is known as enactment or the passage of appropriation bill. That is why. Clear? Only to comply with this requirement. Then there is an article 117, which clearly says no money bill imposing tax. No money bill imposing tax. That is finance bill. No money bill imposing tax, that is finance bill, shall be introduced in the parliament except after the recommendation of president. So that means, sir, you are saying that the finance bill is nothing but the money bill that is imposing tax. So the finance bill and appropriation bill, these are the examples, guys, of money bill. आप लोगों ने तो क्या किया ना, मनी बिल को सिर्फ एक रटा है कि मनी बिल सर क्या होती है. सर मनी बिल इज समथिंग विच इज रिलेटेड टू द प्रोविजन मेंशन अंडर आर्टिकल 110 क्लॉज ए टू क्लॉज एफ. बट हैव यू एवर गॉट द फील ऑफ द मनी बिल? Finance bill, guys, appropriation bill, these are the examples of money bill. These are the examples. Because what is appropriation bill? Involving expenditure from CFI. Yes or no? Look at article 110, that provision is there. What is finance bill? Bill that is imposing taxes. Look at article 110. So these are the examples of money bill, guys. And no money bill can be introduced in the parliament. And that has to be introduced in the Lok Sabha itself, the House of People, the lower house, except after the recommendation of president. Yes or no? These are some of the important constitutional provisions that come into picture when the budget is being presented, which you guys are seeing now. लेकिन ये क्या होता है ना, ये सब भूल से जाते हो आप लोग, बजट हाईलाइट. अरे लेकिन what is the crux behind it? That is something important. अब एक तो था कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजन. Now the second part, सर ये जो बजट प्रेजेंट हो रहा है 1 Feb 2025, आपको क्या लगता है, ओ 3 दिन बैठे, 1 हफ्ता बैठे, द बजट इज प्रेजेंटेड? No. This is not the budget is formulated. This is not how the budget is going to be enacted. Let me show how the budgetary process happen in our country. There are actually 4 stages, 4 parts of budget, I would say, the process. It starts with budget formulation. Now, what is this budget formulation? ये जो आप budget देख रहे हो, guys, it takes certain months to come up with such budget. बजट इज नॉट जस्ट ओनली द स्पीच विच इज गिवन बाय आवर फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर, वो तो एक छोटा सा डॉक्यूमेंट है, दैट्स इट. बजट इज मोर देन दैट. What is all the comprises in the budget? See, first of all, let me tell you the responsibility for budget formulation. The responsibility for budget formulation is with Department of Economic Affairs. This Department of Economic Affairs, guys, Economic Affairs under the Ministry of Finance. Department of Economic Affairs is under the Ministry of Finance. It is responsible for the overall formulation of budget. It is responsible for the overall formulation of budget. Now, how does it happen? Generally, you will find out in the month of August to September, August end or September, the department issues a circular. This department issues a circular to all the department and ministries. Issues the circular to the departments and ministries to give their estimates, to give their expenditure estimates in the form, to give their expenditure estimates in the form which is mentioned in the circular. Are you getting my point? Expenditure estimates which is mentioned in the circular. जो फॉर्म होता है ना एक्सपेंडिचर एस्टिमेट्स mentioned, the form is mentioned in the circular, that in what form you have to, then what form you have to give your estimates, that is mentioned in the circular itself. Clear? And sir, what is in that form? What is in that form? Sir, what estimates are given by the ministries or department there? Let me tell you, the estimates which you generally see, that comprises of 4 type of estimates. And in the 4 type of estimate, it starts like budget estimates of next financial year. That means 2025-26. Budget estimates of next financial year. देखो आज क्या है? 1st February 2025. And this 1st February is a part of which financial year? 2024-25. Yes or no? So thereby the budget estimates will be provided of next financial year. ये word याद रखना, next भी पूछ सकते हैं और ये year भी दे सकते हैं. Second, you will find out the expenditure estimates of current financial year but revised estimates. Revised estimates of current financial year. That is 2024-25. अब आप देखो इस 2024-25 में ऑलमोस्ट आप देखो ऑलमोस्ट 8 साल हो गए होंगे, 8 महीने सॉरी, 8 months have been passed. So don't you think so the estimates would be more credible as compared to the budget estimates of current financial year? अब ये जो करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर है इसके बजट एस्टिमेट्स कब आए होंगे? टेल मी, बजट एस्टिमेट्स ऑफ करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर कब आए थे? 1st February 2024. Yes or no? But now you see 1st April से लेके the estimates expenditure have been implemented, तो एक accurate डाटा आ रहा है ना कि अप्रैल, मई, जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर, so almost 8 to 9 months of data you have. So don't you think so this will be leading to revised estimates which will be more accurate, more credible? And the 4th estimate it will come up to be, that is actual estimates of previous financial year. Previous financial year, that is 2023-24. तो इसका तो हमारे पे अब हम actually estimates बता सकते हैं. So you will find out that department or ministries, they will give these 4 type of estimates in their circular. और इस estimates को हम क्या बोलते हैं? When they give it in the form that is known as demand for grants, which is mentioned under Article 113. I hope you are understanding this. अभी समझ लो, मैं आपको बजट में दिखाऊंगा, एक्चुअल बजट में, कि यार ये देखो सर आप तो 4 एस्टिमेट्स बोल रहे थे. Not only that, मैंने आपको क्या बोला था, हर बार एस्टीमेट, जो भी एक्सपेंडिचर एस्टीमेट्स होंगे, इसमें एक्सपेंडिचर के दो तरीके के क्लासिफिकेशन होंगे, एक रेवेन्यू एंड कैपिटल, revenue and other account we have is capital. Second, sir, you have also told me, sir, expenditure will also be classified as charged and non-charged. Yes or no? मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा, don't worry at all. लेकिन ये छोटी छोटी nitty-gritties आपको याद रखनी. Clear? Now, once this, try to understand, once this department or ministries, they have submitted their, you can say, expenditure estimates, and they have submitted back. Third is, the Department of Economic Affairs also asked the revenue earning minister. It also asked the revenue earning ministries that you also give me the idea that how much revenue you are going to earn. And this is how then, based on the revenue estimates and the expenditure, and along with keeping the current government priorities, they come up with consolidating the estimated receipts and estimated expenditure. They come up with that. Estimated receipts and expenditure estimates. And this is what is known as annual financial statement. Now, once this is done, budget need to be presented. This is how the budget has been formulated. Now, once this is done, budget needs to be enacted. And this budget enactment starts with the first process known as presentation of budget. Presentation of budget. Now the point is, sir, when is this presentation of budget? Sir, ये budget कब presented होता है? This budget is actually presented on the day as decided by the president. अब वो तो conventionally president ने decide कर लिया है 1st February. Now, otherwise वैसे क्या था? Otherwise थोड़े time पहले, till 2016, the budget used to be presented on the last day of February. That is 28th or 29th February, whatever it used to be. But then it is decided that, okay, now the budget will be presented. But officially, if you see the rule, the budget is that is the annual financial statement is going to be presented on the day as decided by the President of India. Clear? 1. Now, when this budget is presented, like suppose today you will find out that the budget is being presented by the finance minister. She is going to highlight the speech and all. She is going to read a speech and highlight the stuff that, okay, what initiatives are going to be done. Now, once this budget is presented, then on a day, on a single day, which is decided again by the speaker, there will be a general discussion. There will be a general discussion. General discussion is going to happen on the day which is held on a day which is appointed or decided by the speaker. Clear? This is decided by the speaker. Now, during this general discussion, let me tell you, the members of the parliament, they can raise their questions. They can raise their questions, but no voting will happen during this place. No voting. The discussion is allowed. Discussion is allowed, but the voting is not going to happen. Clear? Once this general discussion happen for such period of time, again, कितने दिन के लिए? For such period of time as the speaker may decide. As the speaker may decide. So, or you can say presiding officer may decide. So, for such period of time as the presiding officer may determine, what happens after that? There is a break. You will find out there is a break of 2 to 3 weeks. And in this break is aimed for scrutiny of the demand for grants by DRSCs. Scrutiny by departmentally related standing committees. They will analyze that, okay, the demand for grant which you have asked for this, but by this particular ministry, is it accurate? Or yes, it is justified, it is reasonable. But the demand for grant asked by this ministry, no, they are asking more than it is required. Yes or no? So they will try to analyze, they will try to scrutinize and submit report. But let me tell you, the recommendations or the reports which is submitted by the DRSCs, that will be non-binding recommendations. Non-binding recommendations. Clear? Now what happened? Again, the same session which was hold for a pause, the sitting can now started. And what happened then starts the voting, not voting like, first of all, I would say discussion and voting. This word I'll write like this, discussion and voting. Discussion and voting on demand for grant. Yes or no? Discussion and voting on demand for grants. Now what it happens? See, discussion is started. When I say discussion is started on demand for grant, the members started discussing about particular demand for grant. They're like, okay, when, demand for grant, when it has to be introduced, it requires the prior recommendation of the president, Article 113. Clear? Now, when it is put to like on a discussion happened, the members didn't find any problem, तो क्या हुआ? Voting हो गई. So there was voting upon the demand for grant, passed. Second demand for grant introduced after the recommendation of president, discussed by the members, put to vote, passed. ऐसे करते करते demand for grant is put to on discussion and voted, put to on like on a discussion and voting. But कुछ demand for grant आते हैं. मानो suppose 8th demand for grant came in, and in that what happened कि ये जो 8th demand for grant है वो discussion कुछ ज्यादा ही हो रहा है उसमें. The members were not happy with respect to the demand for grant asked by that particular ministry. They are like, no, it is too much. So what happened? The ministers, so not ministers, बार-बार मैं ministers बोल रहा हूं, the members of the parliament, if they want, they can initiate a motion known as cut motion. The members, if they are not happy, guys, let me tell you, in this discussion and voting, if they are not happy, they can initiate the cut motions. And these cut motions, sir, they are divided of 3 types. One is economic cut motion. That means they are not happy with the, I would say, policy. No, sorry, they are not happy with the amount which is being given to that policy. मानो अगर अमाउंट 1 करोड़ दिया है तो उनको लग रहा है नहीं ज्यादा है, 50 करोड़ से कम कर लो. इट इज नोन एज इकोनॉमिक कट. दूसरा टोकन कट, कि यार नहीं यार, रिड्यूस्ड बाय ₹1, कि यार जस्ट टू वेंटिलेट माय ग्रीवेंस, दैट इज नथिंग एल्स. On the other hand, third is policy cut motion. Policy cut motion का ये meaning है that I am not happy with the policy, so I am introducing a motion to reduce this rupee to ₹1. 1 rupee करना है, ₹1 in that policy. Clear? But is this cut motion going to be passed in the Lok Sabha? No. Why? Because generally you will find out the ruling party, they have going to have the majority. Yes or no? And if they have the majority, how is this cut motion going to pass? I don't think so. If it is passed, it will give an indication that the government does not have the confidence. और जैसे ये pass हुआ cut motion, it will clearly indicate कि भैया government is not having the confidence. Thereby, the opposition might bring no confidence motion after that. It might be possible. Clear? So this is how the passage of cut motion is difficult. It is not generally, it will not generally happen. But still the members have the option to initiate this. करते करते चलो फिर से पुट टू वोट किया, पास. सडनली बहुत टाइम हो गया, 2 वीक्स 3 वीक्स हो गए, अभी तक डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट पास नहीं हुए. अभी तक सिर्फ 102 में से 40 डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट पास हुए, वोटिंग हुए. सो व्हाट स्पीकर डज देन? स्पीकर इज लाइक, बहुत हो गया डिस्कशन, लेट मी पुट ऑल द डिमांड ऑफ ग्रांट्स टुगेदर, लेट मी पुट ऑल द डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट्स टुगेदर एंड पुट टू वोट इन अ सिंगल वोट इटसेल्फ. इस प्रोसेस को बोलते हैं गुलियोटीन. इसको क्या बोलते हैं? गुलियोटीन. वेयर द रिमेनिंग डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट, जिस पे डिस्कशन नहीं हो पाया है, उन सबको साथ में लेके दे आर पुट टू वोट टुगेदर, एंड दिस इज हाउ द डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट हैज बीन अप्रूव्ड बाय द पार्लियामेंट. अब आप मुझे एक बात बताओ, डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट तो हो गया, विच मींस द पार्लियामेंट एग्रीज टू द डिमांड, गाइस. Which means parliament agrees to the demand that okay, यही जो demand है बिल्कुल हो गई आपके पास, अप्रूव कर दी गई. But can it make executive now allowed or eligible to withdraw money from the CFI? No. उसके लिए आर्टिकल आता है 114. Thereby, the next step that come here is passage of appropriation bill. only to comply with Article 114. That is why. Because clearly it says Article 114, no money shall be withdrawn from CFI except under appropriation made by law. Clear? I hope you got it. अब इसमें एक और प्रोविजन है कि आप सोचो कि सर एप्रोप्रिएशन बिल है तो अमेंडमेंट इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं एंड जनरली यू ट्राई टू ब्रिंग अमेंडमेंट्स बाय फॉर रिड्यूसिंग द अमाउंट और वेरिंग द अमाउंट दैट इज नॉट अलाउड एंड लॉजिकल यार आपने डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट अप्रूव किया है जब डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट अप्रूव कर लिया इन शॉर्ट यू हैव एक्सेप्टेड देयर डिमांड तो व्हाई यू आर ब्रिंगिंग द अमेंडमेंट दैट इज व्हाई आर्टिकल 114 क्लियरली स्टेट्स दैट एप्रोप्रिएशन बिल में अगर आप अमेंडमेंट लाते हो व्हिच इज अबाउट varying the amount, reducing the amount, that is not at all allowed. And the last step in the budget formulation is passage of finance bill. Yes or no? Passage of finance bill. Finance bill is the bill I told you which is having a money bill which is involves the imposition of tax or the tax related amendment. Clear? This bill can face the amendment, unlike the appropriation bill. And once this is passed, we say that the budget has been enacted. This is what the last step in the budget enactment. और इसके बाद start होता है budget implementation by whom? By the department and the ministries. And then it is followed by the monitoring. The budget monitoring done by whom? By the parliament. So parliament tries to monitor that whether my money which has been given to you क्या वो सही जगह spent हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है yes or no and they do it they seek the executive accountability through various motions could be censor motion adjournment motion through other tools like question hour discussion sessions or through committees public account committee estimates committee COPU committee on public undertakings or through an agent of the parliament that is CAG which is a constitutional body itself even that holds the executive accountable तो ये होती है बजट मॉनिटरिंग डन थ्रू वेरियस टूल्स वो आज के लिए हमारा इतना मेजर एरिया नहीं है सो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम नॉट एलैबोरेटिंग ऑन दैट पार्ट ऑल्दो आई वुड से दैट अगर आप लोगों ने क्लास देखी है पल्स पॉलिटी क्लास बाय कुमुद रंजन सर ही हैज डिस्कस्ड अ डिटेल अबाउट द बजट मॉनिटरिंग क्लियर So this is about the budgetary process guys just to give you an idea that my complete module on Indian economy is going to be launched from 9th February. Deliberately these classes have been started after the economic survey budget so that we incorporate the latest concepts here. So this is what we are going to start. Let me tell you a single aim of the module is to ensure 80% accuracy in your economics questions. That is a single objective with which I always take this module guys. Clear? Lastly, I told you guys that the budget will be divided as revenue and the capital. Yes or no? I told you earlier because Article 112 clearly states that the expenditure has to be separated like revenue account and the capital expenditure and the other type. Other type is only one capital. So revenue and capital. So that is why the budget is divided like that. I would want you to just see as of now, I'm not going to discuss in detail. All these components of budget is going to be discussed in my module in detail. But why I have shown you? Because when I'll tell you about the budget trends, about the receipts, you should be able to understand, okay, this revenue receipt come under here. And what revenue receipts? Tax, non-tax. Clear? Then non-debt capital receipt, where does it fall? So ये जो छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं this is ना you should be aware of it. तो आपको जो part 2 है बजट का you will be able to understand it very well. Clear? So that's it guys. In case you are not you want to complete your syllabus. You want to complete your syllabus and you want instant recording of the lectures. You can get instant access to all the lectures guys. By all these expert faculties you can see which is having more than 10 years of experience, that is average. Otherwise, the teacher like if you see Rashid sir, 15 plus years, Kumud Ranjan sir, 20 years, Akhilesh sir, 12, 13 years, myself, 9 plus years. So on an average, you'll find out that there has been a team which is providing you prelims enriched content only. You can get instant access to all the lectures if you want it by a team which has taken the classes only like highly relevant, I would say, for the prelims. So that's it, guys, for the first part of the budget. Stay tuned, and I want you to please like and subscribe to this channel so that you are getting more and more notifications about the budget.